Prepare to be captivated as we embark on a harrowing journey through history, exploring 10 catastrophic airburst events that shook the very foundations of our world. So, fasten your seatbelts, hold your breath, and join us on a spine-tingling expedition as we witness the raw power of the heavens unleashed in a cataclysmic display. Get ready to be spellbound by the sheer magnitude and unfathomable devastation of these 10 earth-shattering moments in history. Space is a messy place, full of large rocks, and possibly other things, that at any moment could come hurtling toward us at high speed. Most of these objects are small enough that they become bright streaks of light in the night sky as they burn and break apart. Sometimes these objects will violently explode in an airburst, and on very rare occasions, an airburst will happen close to the ground with devastating results. Here are 10 devastating airburst events from history. 1. 1908 Tunguska Event. The Tunguska event of 1908 is the largest known airburst in history. In the early morning hours of June 30, 1908, an object entered the Earth's atmosphere, making a beeline for a remote region in Siberia near the Tunguska River. The object exploded several miles above the Earth's surface with force 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It flattened some 500,000 acres, 2,000 skam, of trees, and the force of the explosion was detected as far away as Western Europe. To this day, we are still unsure what exactly the object was, how big it was, or what it was made of since there was no impact crater and very little was recovered at the site. Conspiracy theories range from a black hole hitting the Earth to an alien UFO exploding. Russia has helped keep the UFO theory alive, with wild claims of alien metal or other technical devices discovered in the region. 2. 1490 Qingyang Event. Unlike Tunguska, the 1490 event in Qingyang, China, is reported to have had thousands of deaths and injuries. Records claim that up to 10,000 people were killed in March or April of that year when stones fell like rain on the city. Scientists today believe a meteor shower alone is unlikely to have caused so many deaths. However, an airburst the size of Tunguska could be a possible explanation. It is worth noting that in January of the same year, astronomers in Japan, China, and Korea discovered Comet C/1490 I1, whose destruction led to the annual quadrantic meteor shower, which we can still see today. Are the two events related? Scientists are unsure, but it is quite a coincidence otherwise. 3. 1650 BC Tal El Hammam Event. Many are familiar with the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed in a rain of fire and brimstone from the heavens. Well, scientists think they may have found the ancient city which inspired the stories. It was not a vengeful god who destroyed the city, but rather an object from space that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Tal El Hammam was a bustling Bronze Age city just north of the Dead Sea. Around 1650 BC, the city and the area around it were suddenly abandoned for 300 to 600 years. Excavations of the site have found evidence that the palace complex in the city was violently destroyed around this time. The ancient city is blanketed by a thick layer of carbon and ash, with melted pottery, plaster, and various metals. 4. 10,700 BC Abu Huraira Event. Abu Huraira was a Paleolithic village in modern-day Syria. It is also the earliest evidence we have of an airburst event directly affecting humans. The story of Abu Huraira is much like Tal El Hammam. There is evidence of an ancient settlement with an even older settlement under it. In between is a layer of ash and materials that melted at very high temperatures. Scientists believe that a comet entered the atmosphere and broke apart. Several of the pieces then exploded in airbursts. One of these exploded right over Abu Huraira. Sadly, with the construction of the Tappan Dam in 1974, the Abu Huraira site was flooded. It now sits at the bottom of Lake Assad, so we are not likely to learn more about this event anytime soon. 5. 252 to 383 Hopewell Event. The Hopewell were a Native American people who lived in what is now southern Ohio. They are well known for their mound building. They were also great traders who had connections as far north as the Canadian Great Lakes and as far south as the Gulf of Mexico. In short, things were going well for the Hopewell, until suddenly they weren't. We do not know exactly when it happened, but there is strong evidence that Hopewell experienced a comet airburst. Around the year 400, the archaeological history of the once thriving Hopewell culture begins to suddenly dry up. Other tribes in the area have stories of a horned serpent that flew across the sky and dropped rocks onto the land before plummeting into the river, a sky panther that had the power to tear down a forest, and a day when the sun fell from the sky. Scientists have found comet pieces and chemical fingerprints at Hopewell sites from around this time. Also, some Hopewell jewelry from this time was made from comet pieces. 1626. Wangongcheng event. Wangongcheng was the name of an armory in Beijing, and since this was China in the 1600s, this meant the armory was full of gunpowder. On its own merits, it is not noteworthy that an armory full of gunpowder exploded. However, it is notable that there were mysterious events right before the explosion. It was a clear, calm morning in Beijing on May 30, 1626. Suddenly, there came a loud roaring sound from the sky. It began over the northeast part of the city and then passed to the southwest, where the armory was located. 1930. Carusa River event. On August 18, 1930, Father Fidel Del Viano visited an isolated community near the Carusa River in Brazil. He was met by terrified residents who thought that the world was ending. This seemed like kind of a big deal, so he asked for more details. He learned that on a quiet, sunny morning 5 days before his visit, the people of the community witnessed fine red dust falling all around them. This was followed by a rain of white ash. Then there came a loud, piercing whistle followed by 3 massive explosions, which set fire to the nearby forest and caused a small earthquake. 1888. Sulaymaniyah event. It is not certain that what happened in Sulaymaniyah, Iraq, was an airburst event. Like the previous entry, this event was mostly unknown until fairly recently. In 2020, Turkish researchers were reading through old archives of the Turkish government. Many of the records were about mundane events. Then they found letters written about a very non-mundane event, the earliest evidence of a person being hit and killed by a meteorite. 2013, Chelyabinsk meteor. The Chelyabinsk meteor is probably familiar, as it only happened 10 years ago. It was widely filmed and discussed in the media and among scientists. On the morning of February 15, 2013, a small asteroid entered the Earth's atmosphere from the direction of the sun. Because of this, it went undetected and caught the world by surprise. It finally exploded in a spectacular airburst over the Chelyabinsk region of Russia. Thankfully, the Chelyabinsk meteor exploded quite high in the sky, so the full force of the explosion was not felt on the ground. Still, the explosion caused millions of dollars of damage and injured thousands. 1972, Great Daylight Fireball. The 1972 Great Daylight Fireball is unique because, as far as we know, it never exploded. On August 10, 1972, many people observed a fiery object moving across the sky over the western United States and Canada. The object entered the atmosphere at a shallow angle and then left the atmosphere again without exploding or hitting the Earth. Based on its flight path, scientists predicted that the object would return to Earth's atmosphere in 1997. As we conclude our breathtaking journey through the annals of history's most devastating airburst events, we are left humbled by the cataclysmic power that can be unleashed from the heavens above. From the haunting echoes of Tunguska's otherworldly explosion to the harrowing devastation caused by the Chelyabinsk meteor, our exploration has illuminated the fragile equilibrium between humanity and the vast cosmos. If you found our video informative, kindly subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on our videos.